Hi. Welcome to a Tuesday Monday class. I'm fashioning this after a Tuesday Y class, but I offer it to the Monday senior students. And we're going to start lying down, or if you prefer, you could sit. But you're going to pick a pose that is comfortable to you, that you feel you could stay in for a while without suffering at all, that you recognize it as your choice to be in this pose. So you're picking it. I'm not picking it. If you're lying down, you could have your knees bent so you'd feel a little more comfortable in the lower back maybe. And you could be standing as well. I often stand at this part of class. You're welcome to stand. We're going to be drawing our senses in, noticing the outer environment, and then working more in toward the inner environment. And as part of that, it would help if you could close your eyes, because then you are not drawn so much to the outer environment, since the sight takes up so much of our attention. So if you can't close your eyes, you can look down and leave your lids soft, and pay attention that you are not drawn into whatever you are seeing, that you are opening up your experience of being in the present moment, so that it includes much more than just sight. So we're resting and observing. Every pose has a combination of effort and relaxation. And in this pose, we're looking for very little effort, just the effort to turn toward your experience. So we're going to start with recognizing that we're hearing sounds. Those sounds might be outside your space where you're practicing, or they might be inside your practice space. And you might notice that you have a preference for whether that sound is there or not. You might like that sound. You might dislike that sound. But recognize also, excuse me, I'm having a little pollen issue. But you might recognize also that the sound is not there to irritate you, and that you can just let it be there, whether you like it or not, whether you find it pleasant or unpleasant. It's just there, and you notice the sounds. And we don't even have to identify the sounds. That's a bit of getting close to interacting with the sounds. If we just notice sound, raw sound, And usually when we start with paying attention to sounds, that will relax us into being present in this moment. And you can do this any time of the day. Just sit for a moment, hear the sounds, and observe. And notice how the body might change. It might relax a little, soften. There are other stimuli, of course. How about checking out where your body touches the floor? What is that like? Or it might be touching a blanket or a rug. And you notice as you breathe that sense of touch might vary according to the breath. The sense of touch, even against the floor, might vary as you're inhaling and exhaling. And we're not trying to force the breath, we're just observing that the breath is there, and that when you inhale, you might experience that touch against the floor, the ground, with quotes around it. You might notice that it changes a little bit as you inhale and exhale. You notice that the breath has a beginning of the inhalation, a middle of the inhalation, and an end of the inhalation. At the end, there may be a little pause. And then as you exhale, a beginning of the exhalation, a middle of the exhalation, an end of the exhalation. And then maybe a pause. And back to the inhalation. So all things that arise have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And we draw in and we observe more of the inner process. And we might notice that there are thoughts and there are emotions that are present in this experience. They too are just like the sounds. They come and go. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end. All things that arise pass away. And you might notice that the thoughts or the emotions you have had many times before, and they're coming up again. Just noticing, observing, not interacting with those thoughts or emotions, letting them be there just like you let the sounds be there. They don't define you, they're just there. Watch the back of the body and see how, as you inhale and exhale, the back of the body changes. So we're going to begin to move a little bit, just a little bit. We're going to take the hands onto the rib cage. If you would like to be seated, because it might be easier for you to feel this experience, you can sit up, put a blanket underneath your buttocks, and sit up. And we're going to wrap our hands around the rib cage. So the fingers are in front and the thumbs are in back. Taking a breath in, inhale into the hands so that the outer ribs move into the hands. And as you exhale, let the outer ribs move in, exhaling out the breath. Couple of breaths, breathing into the hands. Exhaling, the rib cage moves in. Inhaling, the rib cage moves out. This is because of the movement of the diaphragm. As you exhale, the diaphragm moves up into the rib cage. As you inhale, it presses out into the rib cage and down toward the abdomen. And we really just are caring about noticing the breath at the side of the ribs, in the lower ribs. Now, if your thumbs are able to wrap around the back of your rib cage, see if you can breathe and feel the breath move into your thumbs. There's a little more intention here. The intention of feeling the breath in the back body. You're interacting with the breath, you're directing it a little bit. You notice as you inhale, the back fills a bit. And as you exhale, the back moves in toward the front body and empties the lungs. So the back is where the largest part of the lungs are. When we think about taking a deep breath, we think about lifting the chest and in general in society. I mean, not you necessarily, and not in yoga necessarily, but inhaling, people think about lifting the chest, poking the chest out. So instead, just drop your head for a moment. Even if you're lying down, you can bring your chin a little bit toward the chest and inhale into your thumbs. And exhale, the thumbs move the back forward as you empty. and draw the rib cage in and empty the back of the lungs and the bottom of the lungs. Now just relax the arms, relax the breath, and breathe normally. Normal for whatever is true for you right now. Maybe the breath goes a little deeper, maybe the breath goes a little lighter. Maybe it stays the same. Notice whether the breath is smooth or ragged. Deep or shallow. It's all fine. Just let it be the way it is. We're just resting for a moment. And notice whether the inhalation is longer or shorter than the exhalation. We're going to lie back on our backs, move the blanket aside. You can have your knees bent and have the knees behind the buttocks. Work the shoulder blades down the back, catch them on the mat. Put your hands on the thighs, and as you exhale, press into the thighs all the way through the pause at the end of the exhalation. And when you're ready to inhale again, start the inhalation and relax the hands. Exhale, press into the thighs, press through the pause at the end of the exhalation until you're ready to inhale again. When you inhale, relax the pushing. Last time, we're going to press into the thighs. We're going to run through the exhalation, through the pause at the end. As you're pausing and pressing against the thighs, let the abdomen drop in, lengthen the abdomen. Whenever you're ready to inhale, inhale and relax the pushing. Take a breath in, let it go with a sigh. Inhale, reach the right leg out. Reach the arms over the head. And as you exhale, bring the left leg back and hug it in. As you hug it in, bring the heel a little bit toward the buttock and the buttocks a little bit toward the floor. Take a breath in again, staying where you are. As you exhale, draw the leg even closer to the abdomen, and at the same time, take the buttock a little toward the floor. Reach through the inside edge of the right heel. And as you exhale, release that left leg. Inhale, reach the arms. Draw the right leg back, and as you exhale, hold on to the shin or the back of the thigh of the right leg. Reach through the inner heel of the left leg. Take the buttocks on the right a little toward the floor, even as you bring the right thigh closer to the abdomen. Inhale, relax a little. And exhale, continue to draw the leg toward the abdomen, taking the buttocks toward the floor. Now inhale and switch. Exhale and press. Reach through the inner right heel. Reach the left buttock into the floor just a little bit. Hug in. Inhale and reach. Switch. Exhale and press. Going in your own rhythm. When you're ready to inhale, reach and switch. And when you're ready to press, hold on to the shin or the back of the thigh and work the inner heel on the outstretched leg away as you work the buttock on the pulled back leg away. We started with the left leg back, I think, and we're going to end with the right leg back. If you know that I ended the other way, go ahead and do the other side. It's fine. Take a breath in and bring both feet behind the buttocks. Pulling the shoulder blades down the back. So we're going to be working on hamstrings today. So you'll need a strap or a tie. I should have told you that. I'm sorry. So you can stop your video for a moment and go get a tie if you want to. Maybe you had it nearby anyway. And we're going to put the tie around the right leg. And we're going to reach the right leg up long. With the tie loose, you don't have to pull or anything. Just you keep it on the foot. And they might have to have just a little bit of control with the hands, but you're not trying to pull the leg close to the face. Take a breath in and reach the right heel toward the ceiling or the wall in front of you and take the right buttock down and see how relaxed it feels in the back of your leg, or is it strained? If it's strained, you're going to move away just a little bit and you're going to find this position where you can have the leg straight and it's not a strain. And then breathing, you're going to hold on to the tie ends and pull the leg toward the face while the leg resists that. So you are pulling and resisting and the leg does not move. And it's constant, this pulling and resisting. It doesn't let up and then get strong. It's constant. Keep reaching away with the leg and pulling back with the hands, and the leg goes nowhere. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, relax that pulling and resisting and see if when you relax, the leg can come a little closer to the face. Still, you don't want stress in the back of the leg. Take a breath in, look at the toe, big toe, and see where it is relative to the ceiling. As you exhale, pull and resist, pull and resist, pull and resist, pull and resist, pull and resist. Keep pulling and resisting constantly. Don't let up. Inhale. As you exhale, relax the pulling and resisting and see if the leg will come just a little bit closer to the face. Maybe it doesn't. That's fine. If you are shaking, you're too close to the face. Move away. If you can't reach the heel away from the buttock and the buttock away from the heel, you're too close to the face. Look where your big toe is now. Take a breath in. As you exhale, pull and resist, pull and resist. If the leg gets over the face, you can move your arms behind. Pull and resist, 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 pull and resist. Work hard. The harder you work, the easier it'll be to relax. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, relax. Relax in the hip joint. Maybe the leg comes back a little closer to the face. Now we're just going to stay here. You can use the tie to keep the leg there. And maybe you can stretch your left leg out. Maybe you can't. That's fine either way. Breathing, just staying there and watching the breath. Noticing if the breath is moving the area or changing the area. It might just be an energetic change in the hip joint. Every once in a while, you might take a breath in and find that you've created a little space there. And that when you exhale, the hip closes a little bit and the leg comes a little closer to the face. And then release that leg. And come back to neutral. You might have your legs stretched out, or you might have your knees bent. So we're going to bring both feet back again behind the buttocks and put the tie around the left foot. And reach the left foot away from the left buttock. And work on getting that leg straight. With it straight, how close can you come to the face without any stress? If it's stressful, you're going to move away from the face. And actually, everybody could move away a little bit so that you're working from a very relaxed place with this leg. Take a breath in. As you exhale, staying right where you are with the leg, pull and resist, pulling back with the tie, resisting any movement at all with the leg. And it's not pull and the leg comes closer and resist and the leg goes away. It's constant. The leg is not moving. Pull and resist, pull and resist, pull and resist, pull and resist, pull and resist. Deep breath. As you exhale, relax. And as you relax, maybe you can come a little closer to the face without bending the knee. Inhale. You can feel the breath in the back body. Feel it against the floor. And as you breathe, you're going to pull and resist, 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 pull and resist. Deep breath. As you exhale, relax. Let the hip joint fold, not the knee. And if you've gone too far, you'll find that you're shaking a bit or you feel stress in the back of the knee or at the buttock. You've gone too far if you feel any of those. If you have to bend your knee, you've gone too far. Take a breath in. Pull and resist, pull and resist. Keep breathing. Keep breathing, pull and resist, pull and resist, pull and resist, pull and resist, pull and resist. Deep breath. As you exhale, relax. You're not pulling the leg into position, you're relaxing and it folds. And breathing, just use the tie to hold it there. If you have too much happening in the back of the leg or you start shaking, you went too far. You just need to back up a little bit, reestablish where your edge is. You went beyond your edge. But as you're relaxing, you might find a little more relaxation in the hip joint. And you might be able to feel the hip fold a little bit more. And maybe you can stretch your leg out either partially or all the way, your right leg. And still keep the left leg long. Breathing. Reach through the inner heel of the right foot. Watch the breath, knowing that your breath is affecting every part of your body, but it is affecting the hip joint in particular. Now you're going to relax, release the tie, put it aside for later. And just relax for a moment. If you have any stress in your lower back, you could push into the thighs, or maybe just doing that anyway. Pushing into the thighs as you exhale, as there is a pause in the breath. Inhaling whenever you're ready and relaxing. As you're exhaling, you're pressing. Let's everyone do that. As you're exhaling, you're pressing. And watch what happens as you press hard into the upper thigh. Watch what happens to the lower abdomen and to the waist. The waist begins to narrow as the lower back might lift a little bit away from the floor, just from that pressing in at the thigh. Inhale. As you exhale, pressing all the way into any pause at the end of the breath. As you inhale, you're relaxing, breathing into the floor at the back of the body. And then back to a resting breath where you're not pushing, you're just relaxing. So we're going to work on bridge pose. If you have a strap, you can put the strap around your thigh, and you want it to be fairly close to the knees, but not in the back of the knee. So you don't want it to be around the knee per se. And you want it to be loose enough that your knees are going to track with the middle of your feet when you press out into the thigh, into the strap. I like to put the buckle in the middle or the knot in the middle if you are using a necktie or some other kind of strap. And then if you have a block or a book, you could put that between your feet. And again, we're going to spend a little time pressing into the thighs. And relaxing. Take your shoulder blades down the back. We're doing bridge pose. And we're going to be pressing in toward the block and out into the strap. Take a breath in. As you exhale, press into the thighs and begin to move your sit bones towards the backs of the knees. Getting your head, maybe you lift your head just a tiny bit to be able to move the shoulders toward the floor and the head doesn't get stuck. You can just turn it from side to side. As you're drawing the sit bones, the buttocks, towards the backs of the knees, you're strengthening the hamstrings. Keep the neck loose. You can, we're just going to go up and come right back down again, but you could turn toward your outer shoulders a little bit before we come down. And take a breath in, and as you exhale, begin to come back down again. Now, the abdomen is dropping in as you bring the buttocks down. If you find that you start swinging from side to side, stop, take a breath in. And as you exhale, imagine that dropping in of the abdomen, the narrowing of the waist, and you begin to bring the buttocks closer and closer to the floor as the hamstrings let go. And release the final pull of the hamstrings so that the buttocks goes toward the floor. So maybe bring your feet back a little bit as you go up. Sometimes your torso gets farther from the feet. As you're pressing into the thighs again, take a breath in. As you exhale, press into the thighs. Notice that movement of the corset around the lower torso. So the abdomen drops in, the waist narrows, and the lower back just lifts a little away from the floor. All of that supporting the spine. Take a breath in, relax a little bit. Breathe into the floor as you inhale. Exhale, press. As you press, you're going to begin to lift the sit bones. Pretty soon the pressing doesn't matter, but you can still keep the action of the abdomen and the waist. And keeping the head loose, bring the elbows down, walk them underneath the rib cage. Turning the forearms out. You're moving the buttocks toward the backs of the knees. You're moving the shoulders out toward the floor. So the fronts of the shoulders roll out the side of the shoulders toward the floor. If you like to work with the hands interlaced underneath the buttocks, you could do that now. Right now, I'd like everyone, though, to focus on the shoulders moving out toward the outer shoulders and down toward the floor. Breathing and observing. You could have your elbows under your rib cage and your fingers pointing toward the ceiling. Keep taking the buttocks toward the backs of the knees. Take a breath in. Press out into the strap. Feel the back relax. Move the balls of the feet toward the block or the book. And as you exhale, you're going to drop the abdomen toward the floor, releasing the hamstrings little by little, and stopping for a breath whenever you need to. If you begin to wobble,
stop, take a breath in, reestablish the abdomen, the corset work. And taking the buttocks down little by little, long torso, and releasing the buttocks into the floor, and relax. Notice the shoulders releasing away from the outer edges, releasing away from the floor. Notice the breath returning to a resting breath. Look at your lower back. How does it feel? If it feels stressed, maybe you didn't have the corset working. And that corset can be very light. It doesn't have to be strained, but it's enough that it keeps the spine supported. But if you need to, you can always press into the thighs again and reestablish that, and it will help your spine to feel more comfortable if you do have some stress. And if that doesn't help, then you could rock your knees from side to side. You can move the block away and rock your knees from side to side. And then we're going to move the strap, put it aside. Rest for a moment. Notice how you feel. So take a breath in, and as you exhale, draw the abdomen in and bring the legs back toward the torso. And hold on to the left leg at the shin or the back of the thigh. You could use a strap around the back of the thigh if that is not comfortable for you to hold on to the leg with your hands. And you're going to reach the right leg up. And as you exhale, you're going to push the left leg into your hands. Reach the right leg up. Push the left leg into your hands. Reach the right leg up. Take the buttock down a little bit so it's nice and long and straight. And as you exhale, relax. Switch legs. Holding on to the right leg. You might have a strap around the right leg. You're not pulling it back, you're pushing it away as you do this work. So you're pushing it into the hands. Reach up with the left leg, reach the left foot toward the ceiling, flex the foot. Push into the hands with the right leg. Push hard, reach with the left leg. Abdomen drops in, reach the left leg long. Breathing. Pushing into the hands with the right leg, and breath in as you exhale. Relax. Holding both knees. Take the knees away from the face and let the weight of the legs relax in your fingertips. The fingertips are holding the knees, holding the weight of the legs. The back might move away from the floor a little bit. And it's relaxed and safe and calm. Inhale. As you exhale, draw the legs back toward the chest and hug in. And as you hug in, take the buttocks a little bit toward the floor. Inhale, hold on to the knees. Move the knees away from the face. Inhale, as you exhale, hug in. Now draw the knees around in circles, going in the same direction. Feel those circles drawn on your back. As you exhale, draw the circles in the opposite direction. They're still together, going in the same direction. Come back, hug in. Now we're going to draw in opposite directions with the knees. So one knee is working clockwise, the other is working counterclockwise. Your fingers are on your knees, moving as much as you can. And then go the other way. They're going in opposite directions to each other. The knee that was going clockwise is now going counterclockwise, and the opposite is true for the other knee. And then hug in. Inhale, either put the hands at your side or reach the arms behind. As you exhale, draw the abdomen toward the spine and bring the feet down, either one at a time or together. Feel the stretch. Take the legs out. Feel the stretch from the fingers all the way to the heels, and from the heels all the way to the fingers, unless you do have your hands at your side. And that would be because your shoulders don't want to be behind. That's okay. And then relax. So we have stretched the hamstrings and then strengthened the hamstrings. And we're now going to stand up. So turn to your side. Actually, sit for a moment. Don't stand up yet. Turn to your side and come up. Put your blanket underneath your buttocks. So I forgot to tell you, I had picked a card. I'm going to tell you about the card. It says, stay connected to your intention for greater well-being. So especially in this time of, stress, you should have some sense by now of how you intend to keep yourself busy, or how to take advantage of this opportunity to be relaxed and quiet, or whatever. You are looking to see what intention you might have for your routine during the day. What keeps you sane and peaceful and happy? So, looking at that for a moment. And if you haven't built in any routines or intentions for keeping focused, consider doing that. So now we're going to do the lion pose right now. And the lion pose, which can be done seated or it can be done sitting on your knees. And you could do it with your legs apart if it bothers your knees to have the knees bent. But the lion pose is
good for the immune system, and it specifically clears out the lungs. So we want to keep our lungs really healthy and clear right now. All that work we were doing of breathing into the back is important. When you're lying down on the floor, see if your inhalation can come into the back body so that we emphasize filling and emptying the lowest part of the largest part of the lungs, which is the back lungs. All right, so this lion pose helps us to do that. So we're going to hold on to our knees for a moment and inhale and round into the back. And then as you exhale, you're going to push the back forward and stick the tongue out and growl a little bit. Inhale, rounding back. Exhale. Inhale, rounding back. The next 2 times, you're also going to cross your eyes as you come forward. And this last time, put your hands on the feet or the shins. Inhale, round the back a little bit, get a full breath, and bring your paws forward as you growl and cross your eyes. One more time. And relax. Just feeling for a moment what it's like to return to a resting breath. Feel what the energy in the body is like. Now we're going to stand up. Put your blanket aside. I started this twice. First time I started over. And I can't remember what I told you and what I didn't tell you at the beginning of class. But we're going to need a wall for part of this. We're going to work on Virabhadrasana 1. But first, we're going to go to the wall and do some of Leela's work, the clock face lady. We're going to do some of her work at the wall with the heel at the wall. Now, you may want to have a chair nearby so that you have something to hold on to while you're getting into position. And I have this dresser, and I'll probably end up using it a little bit. So I'm close to the dresser. So you might have a chair nearby or a piece of furniture nearby. And we're going to come to the wall, just back up to the wall. And the first thing we're going to do is raise our arms up and let them go back toward the wall as much as you can. You're not pushing your hips forward. Your hips are still over your ankles. And you're bringing the elbows in close to the ears. Long tailbone working toward the earth. And then as you exhale, relax. And again, inhale up, bring the arms back toward the wall and bring the elbows in toward each other, arms toward the ears. Reach one arm up the wall and then the other. Try and keep your hips over your ankles. Don't push the hips forward. And exhale and relax. So now we're going to step the left foot forward and step your right foot back. Now this is where you might need to hold on to the chair or your piece of furniture. And you're going to bring your right foot against the heel up on the wall. So you're apart as far as it's comfortable for you to be, and your left knee is over the ankle. I think I want to be a little further. Now we want our hips to be even. Even though that back leg is back there, you don't want to be dropping in the back hip. So the hips are even. And the heel is on the floor, on the wall. And you've got your left knee over the ankle. Come on, Wendy. Okay. All right, so now we're going to take that left heel and reach toward the wall. We're going to take, the right heel and reach toward the wall. Right heel is in the wall, left knee is over the left heel. And breathing, we're going to bring the shoulders as close to over the hips as is good for you. You may have your hands out in front, holding on to the thigh, or and tilting a little bit, because we're stretching this psoas, which connects up into the pelvis and then up into the spine and up under the diaphragm. And if we are feeling it in the lower back, you might lean forward just a little bit. Okay, deep breath in. We're going to bend the right knee, the back knee. And then we're going to straighten it again, pushing into the wall and pushing the front of the back thigh into the back of the back thigh. Inhale, bend the knee a little bit, straighten it, pushing into the wall and lifting up into the back thigh. And then release. Shake out. Going back with the left foot back, right foot forward. See if you can get your torso to face forward. Your back foot is not turned out. It's just the heel is on the wall. And if you're feeling too much stress on the inner groin or in the lower back, then you could shorten the stance, or you could just tilt a little bit forward. But you're working with your edge, so you're trying to be as close to the edge as you can be. And your front knee is over the ankle. You're reaching back into the wall, lifting the front of the thigh as you reach into the heel. And then we're going to bend the left knee a little bit and then reach back into the heel, lifting the thigh. Bend the knee a little bit, reach back into the heel, lifting the thigh, bringing the leg straight again. And inhale and switch. Shake out first. Just stand up and shake out. So we're going to go one more time to each side. I'm going to give you one more little clue, one more instruction. And remember, this leg is straight back. It's not turned out, the right leg. All right, left leg forward, right leg back. Now bend the knee and notice that your hips go a little lower. See if you can keep the hips lower and stretch back into that right leg and move the front of the right hip toward the right thigh, toward the back of the right thigh. Take a breath in. Maybe you can go a little bit lower. Press back into the heel. Press the front of the thigh into the back of the thigh. And then release. And shake out. Going with the left leg back. Stepping the right foot forward. Centering the pelvis. Left heel is off the floor. Breath in. As you exhale, bend the back leg. Hips go a little lower. Keep the hips lower and reach into the heel and reach the front of the thigh into the back of the thigh. And one last time. Bending the knee. Reach into the heel. Reach into the thigh. And release. Shake out. Okay. So breathing, standing. Inhale and reach. Exhale and lower the arms. Inhale, look up. Reach, exhale, palms up. Look down and release. Last time, inhale up. Exhale down. Shoulder blades down the back and relax. So let's do triangle. If you need to be at the wall, you can be at the wall. And you're putting your right foot forward, lining up right foot with left arch. And we're going to have the knee bent initially on the right leg. And as you exhale, you're going to be swinging the hips to the left. And as you do, you're opening up the right side of the torso, making it really long. And you're putting the right buttock behind the knee and swinging the hips toward the left. The top ribs, they get a little shorter as the bottom ribs get a lot longer. And you're bringing the rib cage toward the right thigh, but not bending in the right ribs. Coming as far as you can. Enjoy that feeling of tucking the right sit bone in behind the right foot, in line with the right foot as you step into the right heel. And we're going to look at the left shoulder and roll the left shoulder back and take the chin with it. And then reach the left arm up, diving into that right hip. If you feel it in your inner right knee, do one of two things. One, bend the knee, and then find all the corners, the four corners of the feet and the center pad of the heel. And as you begin to straighten that leg, do it by moving the hips to the left and making sure that the knee is aligned with the foot. Or maybe you're going back too far with your left hip. Just bring it a little forward and see if that helps your right knee. Breathing, make sure your arm is not behind your shoulder. And bending the knee, come back out again. And release. Going to the other side. Right foot turned out, left foot turned in. Looking for that relationship with the right hip and the left inner knee. So when we have the hip turned out too much, the left inner knee drops in and that hurts potentially. So we are trying to keep that knee lined up with its foot on the left, center of the line of the foot lined up with the back arch. And the hips are going to move to the right. And as the hips move to the right, the left side opens up. The right side closes just a little bit on the rib cage. And the left side opens up. And you're in the heels of your feet. You're anchored in the corners as well, but the heels really know that they are the grounding action. And we're going to look over the right shoulder and roll the shoulder up and back and take the chin with it. And watching as the left ribs get really, really long. Moving the hip away from the foot on the left and the foot away from the hip. Breathing, fill the back lungs. As you exhale, draw the back toward the front. Open up, turn. Maybe you bring that right arm up. Maybe not. Don't let it go behind the shoulder. Don't press down on the knee. Inhale, bend the knee, come back out. And shake out. So we're going to do one more, actually two more standing poses. The first one is a symmetrical pose. So we've got our feet in a comfortable position, feet underneath the hips. You could have your feet together if you'd like, but don't have your knees together unless your feet are together. Don't have the inner thighs together unless your feet are together. Try and keep that a sense of space between the legs and the knees lined up with the middle of the feet. So inhale, bend the knees. We're in Utkatasana. You could put your hands on your hips, or you could begin to bring the arms out in front or up over your shoulders. As you're up over your shoulders, you're bringing the elbows in close to each other, arms close to the ears. Breathing and observing. You might be able to look up at your hands, at the space between the hands, or the space beyond being in between the hands. And then bending the knees and pushing off with the feet. I mean, they were bent. You're just bending them a little bit more, being more aware of that bending of the knees. And pushing off with your feet. That's how the knees go straight. And resting in Tadasana. And then Virabhadrasana 1, which we were working on at the wall. This time, however, we're going to have our heel down and the back foot turned out just a little bit. I'm going to have right foot forward and left foot turned out just a little bit. And you want the back heel to stay down. We're seeing how important that back heel is. And we're going to bend the front knee and lean out. You may be at the wall or holding on to a chair. That's fine. You're going to lean out over that right leg a little bit. And then reach into the floor as you begin to bring the torso up over the hips. Now, if you find that it's too much for you to, in your lower back, to have the torso, the shoulders over the hips, then you're going to be forward just a little bit so that you're more comfortable in the lower back. And as much as you can, you're bending that front knee, walking that front foot out a little farther, reaching into the heel, reaching the front of the left thigh, the left heel into the floor, the left thigh reaching back toward the back of the thigh, feeling the front of the groin opening up just a little bit. And then we can bring our arms to a pitchfork, bring the shoulder blades down the back, breathe. Put a little more energy on the outside edge of the back foot so it doesn't drop in on the inner arch. And then release. Come back to center, shake out, and stand in Tadasana for a moment. See how it is on the left and the right sides. What is different? Are you out of balance? One side very different than the other. So now we're going to step the left foot forward and the right foot back. I only turned because I wanted you to be able to see my legs better. So the back leg is the one closest to you, as it was when I was turned the other way. All right, so now we're going to be apart as far as we can be and still have the knee over the ankle on the front leg and have the heel down on the back leg. Now you might be holding on to a piece of furniture, a chair, the wall. I didn't try this on the other side, but if you feel you have the balance, you could bend your knee, come a little bit lower, and then reach back through that heel. Try to get the heel to be down as well as all the four corners. And then see if you can bring your shoulders over your hips. Lean out over the front leg and reach into the back heel as you come back up. Feel how anchored that back leg is. And then inhale and reach if you can. You could be holding on to a chair. You could be at the wall and you're reaching and reaching and reaching, drawing the shoulders back. And you're not really, you could be reaching over your head. That it poses that way too. But I'm reaching my shoulder blades back and down. And then take a breath in and exhale and step. Come back to Tadasana and see whether now you feel a little bit more relaxed, more balanced, excuse me. The breath is finding its natural rhythm. Noticing the right and left sides. Are they a little bit more in balance with one another? If it feels like one foot is less connected to the floor than the other, or that one leg is shorter than the other, reach down into that leg that is shorter and less connected. And then you might find you get out of balance the other way, and you can reach down into the floor with that leg and both legs. And Tadasana. Shake out. Come back onto your mat. Bring your blanket back and put it as a pillow near the back of your mat. And you're going to sit on that pillow and bring your feet together. And we're going to go into Baddha Konasana in the yin way. So we're going to do a little forward bend. The buttocks is on the blanket, the thighs off the blanket, and the feet are out in front and the feet are together. If you get the feet too far apart, you won't be able to get the feet together maybe. So find your edge, how close you want it to be. This, however, is not the pose with the heels at the pubic bone. So we're going to be folding from the hip joints. And as you fold from the hip joints, you're relaxing the hips open. You don't have to go very far, just going as far as your body is saying, okay. If one leg is significantly higher than the other, go under the lower leg with a block. And then your legs will be working evenly. Pay attention to the inner hip joints. Are they stretching equally? Are they equally as happy? If you have an unhappy hip, work at the level of the unhappy hip. And you're going to work on the good side of that unhappiness. We're not trying to get our head to the floor. We're trying to get our navel to move forward and down. Not, the head will come along, but don't think about it. Let the head just be over the spine, aligned with the spine. And you're working forward just to the level that your least happy hip is comfortable with. And breathing as you exhale, you're going to find where your edge is, where that point is that you really can't go much further without causing discomfort, more than discomfort, without causing pain or doing something you know you shouldn't be doing. So when you find that edge, you're going to let the head drop a little bit so the back is more stretched. And again, you're going to become more aware of the breath in the back lungs. I really am emphasizing the back lungs today because we want to keep our lungs healthy. So the back lungs fill, and when they get ready to empty, they're dropping into the front body and elongating the front body. Inhale, the back ribs fill. And as you exhale, the back ribs move in, and you might feel that your edge is changing a little bit. You can use your elbows against your calves or your thighs to help support your body weight. When you feel you can move into it more deeply, do it on the exhalation. So as you inhale, you round a little bit. As you exhale, you draw the back body in toward the front body, and that elongates the front body. You reach away with the head aligned with the spine, and you find a new edge and drop the head. You might stay at that same edge for quite a while, and then all of a sudden you think, I think I can move a little bit more. And you take a breath in and fill the back body. Exhale, let the back body work into the front body and elongate. Maybe you get a little more length or a little more fold, maybe not. So we're just going to breathe at this level. Don't change your edge anymore. Just rest here. And then inhale, align the head, walk the hands back, bring the legs up, stretch the legs out, and jiggle your legs a little bit. Maybe flop your feet in and out. And we're going to go back to relaxation. I'm going to sit because I like being in that position while you're relaxing so that I project well and I don't end up too deeply in my own relaxation. So, breathing and observing. I'm going to play the bell a little bit. It's not time to come out yet, but just listen to the bell. Listen to the beginning, the middle, and the end of the sound. Resting in awareness of relaxing. Relaxing whatever part of the body has stress that you can see. Just seeing that stress helps the body to release it. And noticing as the body breathes in that you're relaxing the body around the breath so that there's lots of room for the breath to come in. And you're willing to let go of whatever you don't need, whether it's memories or thoughts or worries or tension. The breath comes in, you relax around it, and you offer up whatever you don't need. You're welcome to rest for as long as you'd like. If you're ready to come up, you can turn to one side, rest on your side. And whenever you're ready to come up and sit, you can come up to sit. Bringing hands together. Honoring one another.
Hi, this is Wendy and John. If you'd like to leave a message after the beep, please do so. Thank you.
Sorry about that. It's just noise. Like everything else, it arises, it lasts a little while, and it goes away. So again, bringing your palms together and honoring this moment that we have spent together. Whether we were all here at the same time or not, it's a traveling experience. One person doing it at this moment, one person doing it at the next moment. And it does affect us all. We are together in our hearts and in our minds, even if not physically. And we'll take the time to honor one another. You can bring to mind people from the class, whether you know them or not, just bringing them to mind. And honoring each one of us, that we are here practicing at this moment, that you're listening to it, or that I'm speaking. I don't think anyone's here now. But we're here together. And we are honoring one another, honoring each other's practice, each other's intentions to do well by ourselves, honoring each other's hearts, that place of love and light and truth and peace. Namaste.